I mean, we could get a little taste of O'Reilly, then we can move on to some current stuff today.
Oh, this is where he talks about sexually harassing a fellow employee with a loofah sponge and a hard-on. Tell me how big his cock is.
Yeah, let's remember that story that happened after O'Reilly had a lot to say about it.
Right. We remember that, where he paid off a woman
So
during a
talk about
court
what
case
happened?
that she alleged he had called her and had phone sex or tried to, made suggestive sexual fantasies on the phone about loofah sponges and fucking this woman. And there you go.
Well,
here's Mr. Fucking Morality.
Our top story tonight. Syndicated radio shock.
I know it sucks. After that big setup, which was great, Anthony.
Yes.
I applaud you for that.
Who was that?
He was on vacation.
Okay.
It was still called. It was still called the O'Reilly Factor, but someone was sitting in.
God damn it. Top story. Bill's not here.
Right. Maybe we should pre-listen to some of this stuff.
It was 4 years ago, and I have a mental block of the whole fucking thing. I don't want to think about it.
Jocks, Opie and Anthony have been kicked off the air.
This clip has the grease man, though.
Yeah.
He had a lot of fun with
What a doodle.
Fired over this sex stunt they pulled inside St. Patrick's Cathedral. Last week, the duo broadcast an eyewitness account of a couple having sex inside the church, and yesterday they were officially canned. Bill O'Reilly interviewed the pair recently, and they insisted they're careful to never cross the line. Right. Here is that never-before-seen interview.
Never before seen interview. Because
they did the thing on the downfall of the American youth, or the corruption of the American youth, and we were part of that, but a lot of shit was edited out.
A little insight. We got the attention of like the media and TV and stuff, but we were just two dummies from. I mean, we're from New York originally.
We were stupid.
But we came from Boston, and we were definitely still green and naive, so
we thought any time the news called, we should do it.
So we sat down with Bill O'Reilly. He talked to us well over an hour, tape rolling the whole time. We're saying some good stuff. We know we're saying good stuff. After the interview, we're walking back up toward 57th and 7th thinking, man, that went really well. How you compared religion to this and that, and we were showing some intelligence. Stupid us not knowing how this works, where they tape you for an hour and a half and wait for you to say all the dumb stuff.
Then they cut
out all the intelligent stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm telling you, we had no idea back then. You would just talk about everything.
Well, they would also just cut out anything that made your point of view.
Right.
And then they would leave in the stuff that reinforces their point of view.
Right.
And that's what he did.
Well, his angle was that all we did was sex stuff. So
right.
So he took this hour and a half and made sure there was a lot of clips about us talking about
sex.
The people you work for, the big operation, the big radio operation, do they care what you say on the air?
Without a doubt. We do every day. We have guidelines. We have SEC, rules we got to adhere to, and we do a very good job at that.
Well, you skirt it. You're smart.
Yes, we're very smart. We know where the line is, and we tiptoe on the line, of course. We know at this point what our audience likes. We know how to do it, and that's what we give them.
Well, what do they like? What do they want?
They like to be entertained and traffic. They like to
be specific, though. You just said, wait. You just said, we know what our audience likes, and we give it to them. I want specifically what they like.
Okay, you know what men like, Bill?
No,
talk about sex, talk about sports, talk about entertainment, hanging with their friends,
talk about
TV shows,
talk about sex.
No,
sex is number one.
There's sex in there, sure. We wouldn't consider sex number one on our show. No way.
Every time I tune in,
the media likes to
well, wait a minute. Every time I tune into your program, there's a babe taking off her top, or there's a discussion of lesbians.
I listen every day, Bill.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time I tune in, there's a sexual theme. I'm not hearing the ball scores. If you took sex out of the
2 on the nose. Wait, how's that for a score, you fucking asshole?
How about 2 behind the loofah sponge in the lawsuit? What do you think of that shit, Dick?
What do you think of them apples?
Yeah, fuck yeah. The winner, woman. Right. She won that game. I wish I knew her name. It'd be a lot funnier.
Yeah.
He's about to say something very dramatic.
Uh-oh.
Here he comes.
He's good.
And this statement has now been proven wrong, by the way.
Tune in. there's a sexual theme. I'm not hearing the ball scores. If you took sex out of the Opie and Anthony show, there's a lot of dead air, you know what I mean?
Really?
Really?
Is that true?
Really?
Take sex out?
So
unless we have girls in here shoving fucking wiffle ball bats in them or taking their tops off like you said.
Yeah. We're just sitting here looking at the door waiting for the next naked chick, and we have nothing else to give to people.
That's it.
We're just whistling and humming and going.
No, you can't even do that. It's got to be dead air.
Oh, so
that's what Bill said.
We're not even smart enough to tap the dead air?
Nothing.
It's just, TV.
Hi, Bill? Yeah, it's the Opie and Anthony show. Can you tell us what we can do? Because we're not talking about sex, and it's dead air.
Excuse me.
And we're going to get fired.
Excuse me, Bill. We've run out of sex stories. Could you tell one of your sex stories? That should fill up some time on our show.
Something about a loofah cock and a coworker that's you got to give money to or something. Something like that. Tell that fucking story.
Don't call him, because Fox Security will trace you on the phone.
Right.
A faggot.
We have your number, your name, and you will be getting contacted by Fox Security.
And then by me while I jerk off to your voice. You creep. Fuck off.
No, we don't. Yeah. We fill it up. We fill it up.
Without any sex?
Sometimes we go weeks without doing anything. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I'm talking about on the air, not off the air.
No, on the air. It goes in stages, and we'll even check ourselves. And I'll go to Aunt, Aunt, we're getting a little too much sex on the show lately. Let's back off, and then we'll.
This is easy. Sex is easy. You know it is.
If you cannot be successful in this business just doing sex every day.
So, should the shock jocks have been fired for their latest stunt? Joining us now are Bob Peters. Bob's the president of Morality in Media.
Great, that's the guy you want.
Was he for or against the show?
Someone's saying, what do you think of them apples? Way to show them, Opie. What do you think of them apples?
In media. And in Washington, Doug Track. He's a radio talk show host. He's known as the Grease Man.
The Grease Man.
Well, Mr. Peters, why don't you react to the decision to fire these guys?
Well, I think it's great in two respects. I think they merited being fired. They should have been fired a long time ago. But, I regard myself as a political conservative, and I say, one of the best ways to, reduce the size of government is to reduce the need for it. And when corporations, even after a long delay, do the right thing, there's less need for government. So I'm glad Infinity Broadcasting, for once, has done the right thing.
Mr. Track, you've been caught in situations where you've actually lost your job because of some things that you said on the air.
Brother-de-doo. Yes, the Negroes. Said something about dragging behind trucks, and then I was out of a job. You're right.
But he's gonna tell the world that we're dirtbags.
Silly jibigaboos. Jesus. Doug Tract.
Where you've actually lost your job because of some things that you've said on the air. How do you feel about this decision affecting these two guys?
Well, when you think about it, with some of the stuff that's gone on in churches already, maybe they should be looking on the bright side. At least the people in there were of age and heterosexual. I wish they'd fire some of the priests that get caught in having sex in church as fast as they fire these guys.
Cricket, 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 cricket. Cricket, 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 cricket.
Yeah, I wish,
Let me go for the obvious joke here.
Some of the church, Pedophile priest,
Oh, wait.
Fired.
Tumbleweed.
Ooh, good.
Hey, I like that, Jimmy.
Foley sound guy.
Yeah. Wait, come back.
It hits something.
Yeah, it got windy.
Fire these guys. But when you hire a show like that...
Some of them may end up in jail, the priests.
Well, let's hope so. That'd be a great thing. When you hire a show like this that's more based on stunts, pranks, going over the edge, this is the kind of thing that you have to watch out for. I try to do a show that I paint pictures, I use the language, I do words, but if you have a show
paint pictures.
That's going to be, can you top...
Pictures that are bought by Klan members.
Yeah, you painted a hell of a picture that day.
Hell of a picture.
A lot of charcoal in that picture, huh?
Let me go into the black. Let me use a little alizarin crimson for the blood. Anyone know how to draw a pickup truck and a chain? Paint pictures. You sure painted a big one, didn't you?
Just because you didn't like Lauryn Hill.
Yikes.
Nice. All these guys trying to claim that they're better than everybody else.
Yeah. They're all in a different category. We were all in the same boat, jerk-offs.
That's going to be, can you top this with the nearest naked man jumps into hot chocolate, somebody amputates testicles of a pig on the air for entertainment value. You have to keep going to the next level and the next level and the next level. And I think these guys were doing what they were paid to do. It's like a wife that cooks and cleans and does everything for you. She breaks wind in bed one night, boom, she's out of there.
Yeah, punch her in the face.
I think these guys were doing what they got paid to do. And companies that hire this kind of show have to deal with the burning remnants of
the aftermath there.
He couldn't help himself.
I believe those two had to be corrected.
It's pretty funny that he's talking about, like, responsible radio, and he does a hack priest joke.
Oh, yeah.
And a fart joke.
And a fart joke, and rolls his R's like his character.
I can't do that.
And then tries to defend himself.
Remnants.
By saying he paints pictures. Oof. The picture, all right.
Yeah. He uses the blood of the colored.
Yeah.
That's right.
To paint his pictures.
There's sickle cell on my pictures. I wish I could do it like Ann can, but I can't.
What a doodle.
The show have to deal with the burning remnants of the aftermath.
Well, Mr. Peters, he makes, in some sense, a good point, which he says is that the management told him to do it. Of course, if the management told me to do that kind of stuff, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
but
of course,
does that then mean that the management itself ought to be held accountable?
Just make sure that dead people are shown on your shots, on your news shots.
Yeah, really.
That's all. Management tells you that, don't they? Management tells you things like, if it bleeds, it leads, right?
But
they tell you that.
But you're better than us, right?
Yeah.
Because someone tells you you're not going to do it, right?
Exactly.
Sure, you won't.
Self ought to be held accountable, that perhaps their license suspended, their license revoked. How do you feel about that?
Well, I tell you, I mean, my concern about a revocation is that the FCC simply has not been doing its job in terms of upholding the public interest standard for broadcasters. And then all of a sudden, literally probably out of decades of taking no strong action, suddenly they're going to try to revoke a license. I mean, had the FCC been doing its job all along, in my opinion, this would have never happened.
Yeah.
But even if it had happened, in such a circumstance, the FCC would have been well within its rights, in my opinion, to pull the license.
Mr. Track, these guys had a 3-year, $30 million deal that they signed in June 2001.
We
now,
did?
these guys...
We did? Boy, I'd like to see some of that money. Wow. Holy shit. I certainly would like to see that piece of cake.
And know where that figure came from?
Yeah.
Obviously, we were doing well. John Minnelli, as we keep it real on this show. Fucking John Minnelli from the New York Post, who I do like. He's a friend of mine and a friend of the show. He asked us how much money we were making with our new syndicated deal.
It was the day we signed it.
Right.
We did an interview with him about the fact that we just signed a new deal with Infinity Broadcasting.
We pretty much said it was none of his business.
So we're in Ken's office on the conference call with him, and he asks, how much is the contract for?
Right. And we didn't answer that. So then he figured it out in terms of what Howard was making.
Yeah, or something like that.
And he had some kind of equation, and he decided that's what we were making, which was nowhere's near.
It was ridiculous. When we read
it. We were doing well. Yes, of course, we were doing well, but nowhere's near what was quoted in the paper by John Minnelli, because he did a little math equation.
And no one liked that better than Bob. Bob, our agent, was just like, this is great. He goes, you know what they're going to have to pay on the next contract? We never got to that next contract. No, we didn't.
They signed in June 2001. Now, these guys had been in Boston. I understand they were in Boston. I've been told that they were fired because on April Fool's Day they went on and said that the mayor had been shot and killed and they lost their jobs.
Shot and killed? What?
This is Fox News.
They totally got that wrong.
This is the National Enquirer, you ass. All you had to do was Google our name.
It was a ridiculous April Fool's gag that he was killed in a car crash in Florida with such wacky circumstances that we never got into. Under such wacky circumstances that it was obviously an April Fool's joke. And this guy reporting that we said he was shot and killed.
Can we sue this guy?
Yeah.
He was in the car with Kennedy.
Yeah.
And he was shot in the wrist, and he dropped his Stetson.
Shot and killed.
The magic bullet hit his big fat tongue.
They went on and said that the mayor had been shot and killed, and they lost their jobs. Then they come to New York and they sign a deal for $30 million. Is it likely that after this they're going to go somewhere else and sign a bigger deal?
Well, let's face it. What they did was probably in bad taste, and every now and then you can make a mistake on the air. Lord knows. I live in a glass house myself. The deal is, I don't think they'll come back.
But it's well alarmed because of the Negroes. Don't want them breaking into my glass house.
You hear him bring his voice down for that? Well, I live in a glass house.
I know. I shouldn't throw stones living in a glass house. But I'll sling a little lead. If a coon comes to my door, he's a goner. Yes, they've got to live with the burning remnants of a cross on your lawn. What a doodle. What an ass.
He's coming back to Washington radio, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah, we're going to have fun with him soon.
Welcome, Grease Man.
Don't think they'll come back with a major company right away because major companies are afraid of protests and people wandering around and shareholders getting nervous and stock prices going up and down. But I think in time, if they've learned from this brutal acid test of what works and what doesn't work, they can find a local station with an owner with some guts and probably resurface back to where they were.
Or XM.
Mr. Peters,
I am the great Karnak. Look at him, fucking Kreskin. The Kreskin man. What a doodle. Pick a card, any card. Prestidigitation. He's a magician.
Yeah.
The guy figured it all out. He knew.
Pick a card, any card. Oh, look, it's a spade.
Yeah, spade. I take them all out of the deck. Don't even like looking at him anymore. What a doodle.
Mr. Peters, what impact do you think this kind of radio has on young people?
Well, I'm a media watcher, and I don't know how many times over the last several years I've seen articles specifically on the decline of civility in the United States in public life, affecting people of all ages. And I don't say I've never read an article where the impact of media hasn't been mentioned, but it would be the exception. I think most people attribute, at least to some extent, a decline in civility in public life affecting people of all ages.
Decline in civility, like when women couldn't vote, or blacks were hosed and had to drink at different water fountains, you fucking dumb cunt.
Yeah. When we thought homosexuals were a disease.
Were a diseased criminal, prowlers, predators, and when pregnant girls were sent off to abortions over state lines with hangers,
or how to just live somewhere else,
or how to live somewhere else. These are the good old days we always talk about. The decline of civility.
So there was civil back then. Get out of my yard, nigger. Okay, boss.
That's very civil.
Yeah, civil,
Wonderful.
lovely society.
Board listener from North Carolina, yes.
Yeah, how much longer are we going to have to listen to this shit?
As long as we want to fucking play.
And you know what you'll do, boy? You'll listen.
That's right, boy.
So that means every year at this time we have to listen to this.
That's right. In 365 days, you're fucked again.
Well, I'm going to mark it down on my calendar.
You should do that. Right after fuck my sister and find a job.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
I love you, man.
Thank you, mister.
All right, get out of here.
He loves Jimmy, but who can?
Board listener is not his real name.
Houston Improv all weekend long.
Attaboy, big joke's coming.
To some extent, a decline in civility in public life affecting people of all ages. Now, if it can affect some of us adults...
Yet it's popular, isn't it? It's hard to understand.
Well, I live in New York City, and Howard Stern, to my knowledge, is the most quote-unquote popular radio talk show host in New York City. But, out of the people who are listening to radio in the New York City metro area, it's about 7%.
From a minute from now.
93% of radio listeners don't watch Howard Stern, listen to him, and I don't listen to radio, so I don't even count.
This track, very quickly, I want to give you the last word here. Does this affect young people negatively? Why is it so popular?
I don't think it affects young people negatively. I think negative young people are attracted to this. I think nowadays you have people on the air who really necessarily can't create magic, so they destroy. They break things up. And I think there's enough disenfranchised people. If you look at some of the music videos, some of the junk that's out there where people are throwing up and breaking things and smashing and dying in wrecks and dismembering themselves, I don't think this affects people. I think it just draws the already offbeat crowd into a house of pain.
I want to thank you for both of you gentlemen for being with us. This may be the beginning of a significant change on the radio. We'll have to see.
Certainly will be. Oops.
Yeah, well,
and sorry, we'll be here to fill the void.
That's right. That's 4 years ago, and there was some major changes that went on, and then and now we're back to save the day again.
And by the way, we do create magic on this show. Watch. I saw this retarded baby, so I fucked it.
Ta-da! The aristocrats.